This is pretty exciting. I'm cannot see a thing, but I will give this a go. Thanks for joining me today. Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist. I'm here to talk about how to be better at life as the sun shines in my eyes, which is a miracle for New Zealand being winter. But anyway, give me an emoji. Let me know that you're here on the call. I'd love to know that you're here. I can clearly see that. Let me know if this is a replay or if this is live, and where you're from would be super exciting. So, how to be better at life. When I was talking about this, it really stirred up some emotion around it, quite a lot of people. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that emotion that comes from. But first, how to be better at life came from the dictionary meaning. What does better mean? And so what it means is there was two meanings. The second one was a little bit, I hadn't thought about that. But the first one was more desirable, satisfactory, or effective. More desirable, satisfactory, or effective. And I quite liked that because maybe not the desirable, but satisfactory, meaning, yeah, you're actually satisfactory and you're content with what you have right now. When it came to partially or fully recovered from illness, injury, or a mental state, was one that I completely forgot about. So when people say, I hope you get better or get better soon, that's usually because you're in a down space. And I've heard that term many, many, many times and used it myself, but I clearly hadn't actually thought about that at that time. So they were the two that came up of how to be better at life. So the first question really is, where did your better come from? Where did it actually come from? Did it come from when you were younger, in the past? Did it come from seeing somebody, visualizing something that's going on, or visualizing how you want your life to be, being the past or the future? When it came from this, where did better come from? Is it actually yourself, or is it when you're comparing yourself to others? Because when we compare, well, I'm going to talk a little bit about comparing to others, but it's either yourself or it's yourself or somebody else. So yourself being from the past, and I'm going to talk about that with a client very shortly who I spoke to this week when we talked about being better at life. So really the key here is we go into, why is this so important? Why is this so important that we actually perceive we have to be better at life? What is it that's going on that's truly really driving us? So there's multiple areas you can look at for being better. And one of the areas we've got, just making sure it's still going, is the physical area. Clearly what you look like, what you put in and out of your body, your physical, your food, your exercise, the clothes, whatever it is, moisturizing your body, your hair, all those things. So what areas is it that's so important that you need to be better at? Is it your finances? Are you comparing yourself to back in the past when you had more money, or you had, with what's going on around the world, some people have dropped to 80%, some people have dropped to 60%. Is it around that? Did you have more money back then to where you are now? Did you have a house that you had paid and now you're renting? Did you live with people, or you maybe didn't need to have students and now you have to have students? This is the areas of where it's wise for you to actually have a look at and go, what is actually important? So when we talk about business, we talk about, are you employed by yourself, or are you working for somebody and used to be employed by yourself, or did you have a business, or do you have a team of people and now you only have one person, or now you only have all these things of what areas are you where you perceive yourself to be better back in that past. Your family environment. So when I talk about your family environment, I talk about, are you in a relationship? Are you out of a relationship? Are your parents still around? Are your parents not around? Are your children around? Are they not around? Family is also your social circle as well. Social connections are those ones who are your best friends, who you perceive are your best friends, are actually like a sister or a brother. So what areas are they that you believe getting you better in life? And why is this so important? So when we say, why is this so important, it's really wise to look at what's really going on underneath. Because if you're just purely thinking about this on the surface level, you're not going to dig in and really nut out what's truly going on. So why is this so important? What is better? So when we talk about what is better, for me, we talk about up-leveling. We talk about doing well. We talk about going up to the next level. We talk about succeeding, having a presence, actually feeling like you've achieved something. So just go back to that. Why is this important? It's really important to go back and just check on that. Why is this important? Anything that we put above us, we strive towards and we aim to get there, but it's either unobtainable or it's achievable. And it depends on your level of goals and whether you push yourself to that rocking in the corner point or you push yourselves to, oh yeah, this is easy, I can easily do this. So it's wise when you do your goals to actually put them a little bit out of reach, that you actually have something to drive towards. So like I said, anything that we put towards us, it's going to be whether it's unobtainable or achievable, depending on what level or how far you're going to push. So this week I talked to a client and they talked about losing weight. And she said, oh, I used to be really good at losing weight. Back in the day, I was really thin. Back in the day, you know, back in the day. And so we started nutting through this. And what I asked her to do was I asked her to find the perceived negatives if this better did happen. So she clearly wants to lose weight. Now, there's different aspects of losing weight, but this was just a really quick one to shift the mindset. So when we looked at this, I said, what happens, what's the perceived negatives if, or the downsides or drawbacks if this better did happen? So if you actually lost the weight, what would be the whoopsies going down? And she was like, well, there is none. Firstly, there is none. So I asked the same question again. What would be the drawbacks or perceived negatives or the downsides to this if this actually happened? So she said, it would run my mind, I'm just going to have to read this. It would run my mind and my social life on where I was going and who I was hanging around with, meaning her eating choices. So it's going to constantly be in her mind and she's going to think about it if she had to lose weight or if she was losing weight. And her social life, she would be questioning her social life. She also said, I would become picky on people and food options. So she would clearly only choose the people around her that are going to help her with that, and she would let people go, but she would also only choose people who would actually go with what she was saying because she wanted those certain kind of food options. She said, I would expect people to follow my lead, which could cause conflict. Because we know that, you know, maybe in a eating situation, there's somebody in the house who's healthier than the other. And it's like, honestly, it's like pushing a wet noodle, trying to sometimes getting a message across to people instead of loving them for who they are by saying, you shouldn't eat this, don't do this is not healthy for you, etc., etc. So she'd expect people to follow her lead, which could cause conflict. So if they're not following her lead, it's going to cause conflict. And you can see and feel that. This one really stung to her because I know, you know, she was talking about how she was tight on money. And she's going to have to buy new clothes. And when we talked about new clothes, you know, she started going, oh, I'd buy this and I'd buy this and I'd buy this. So I just stopped her there because all the clothes she was choosing were very high-end, expensive clothes, which is perfectly fine. But if she's got no money, that's definitely a downside to losing weight for her. So it became incredibly expensive when she also had bills and debts that were a priority to pay. She also, this one was the next kahuna that got her, and she said she would have an entitlement attitude over overweight people. And this brought a tear to her eye because she appears to be a humble person, but actually having that, realizing she would have an entitlement attitude over an overweight person was quite profound for her to realize that's what she didn't want. Now, we know when you run from things, clearly they catch up on you. Now, this is not going to tell her that she's not going to lose weight. We did quite a few more. This is not going to tell her to start losing weight and take action. It's just going to be a little shift that's going to start. But here's a little secret. When you let the attachment go, when you let the attachment go and you're not desperate or needy or trying to suck it in, it actually happens. And you will know that. If you think of a time when you were holding on to something and finally you just surrendered and went, what will be, will be, it actually went your way in the end anyway. So when she lets the attachment go of losing weight, it's actually going to flow naturally without her having to prompt and having to think about these drawbacks or perceived negatives. It's just going to happen in a flow for her. So there's another part to this, and there's when you want to be better in your life, is there's an excuse that we make to ourselves or we take action. So we either make excuses, justification over and over and over again, or we take action on what we're saying. So what's actually holding you back from doing this? What's holding you back from losing the weight, doing something, setting that goal, making sure it's achievable, not unobtainable, without rocking in the corner? What is that stuff that's actually holding you back? And we know it's fear. We know there's a fear because one of the great quality questions I have in my toolbox is, who will you be without this current situation? Who will you be right now if you weren't dealing with this? And this sometimes puts fear into people to go, oh my gosh, I actually wouldn't have those friends around me, or I wouldn't have this, or I wouldn't have this. So right now, just look at that, what you want to be better, and go to what is the benefit of the current situation. Right now, what is the benefit to this current situation that you think needs to be better? Remember what I gave you that secret about letting the attachment go? Keep going on this benefit until it's actually not driving you in your mind and you just go, oh, it's neither this or this. Left or right makes no difference. If you have been in a conversation with someone and you walk away and you're a little bit disgruntled and you're like, oh, could have handled it better. Oh, that's not good. I should have kept my mouth shut, or anything like that. And you know we've had conversations like that. I clearly have. Don't deny it. So what you're going to do is you're going to go, what is the benefit to the other person of having this conversation that you could have handled it better? What is the benefit to the other person if you'd handled it better, of what actually had happened then? What is the benefit to you of it happening the way it did? Because this again is letting the attachment go. When you can see that this is how it just is, and it's not something that's driving you. That's it for me. And so that is how to be better at life. Simple as that. And I'm trusting you can see me here in this bright sun. I thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you next week with an inspiring topic. Go and have an action day and get out there and start doing something better if you choose to.